Welcome to Contractor Fight TV. This is our series on gross profit. Basically a primer of the basics that you need to know about gross profit. In the first 3 videos, we've defined gross profit. I've made the case for why I preach 50%, and then we've talked about what your break-even sales point is. So today I'm going to show you one simple hack and give you a quick tool that you can use for free. You can download it for free to help you make sure that you're pricing your work for a 50% gross profit. Let's go, homie. All right, hopefully you guys are seeing the importance of raising your gross profit. One of the most powerful lessons I ever learned in business a million years ago was one year we were doing about a 33% gross profit. We made a commitment that the only thing we were going to focus on for the next 12 months was raising our gross profit. And by the end of that first year, we were averaging a 52% gross profit. And we did less in sales, but we actually made, I don't know, $120,000 more in our pocket simply because we focused on gross profit. So I'm hoping that you guys see the importance of this. I just want to explain to you, how do you figure out what to charge for your work to ensure that you're getting a 50%. What I'm not going to get into is working your overhead into your bids and things like that. A lot of guys, and I've done it as well, you go, what does my overhead cost me per man hour and all this other stuff. Guys, that's stuff that if you don't get what we're talking about here, I don't want to confuse you. So just understand this. In most cases, if you do what I'm telling you to do now and get a 50%, you're going to have plenty of money left over to pay for your overhead and have a net profit. So just trust me on this. It's worked for thousands of contractors all around the world in many different industries. So just hang with me here today. So here's a scenario I'm going to give you. Let's say I got my guy Joe who works for me, makes 20 an hour, and I got my guy Sam who makes 15 bucks an hour. When you add labor burden on top of their wage, okay, Joe, we'll figure about a 40% labor burden. Now, some of you guys are going, oh, you're going to judge the labor burden I give here because it's happened before in the comments. I'm just using this as an example, okay? You got to look at your own books, talk to your own bookkeeper, accountant, go, what's my actual labor burden? What percent of tax and work comp and paying on these guys for direct wages? So say Joe, we're just going to run with a 40% labor burden right now, all right? That means that instead of, I'm not really paying Joe 20, I'm paying Joe 28 an hour because of the labor burden, the tax and comp. And then Sam makes 21 an hour. So I do my estimate, and I'm going to say it's going to take 2 guys a full 7-hour day on site in the home or whatever. And then I estimate at a 30-minute drive on each end of the day to make it an 8-hour day. Okay, you got to work that drive time in if you're paying for that. So now I've got 8 hours per guy for this day, so I've got a total of 16 man hours. Okay, so if I go 8 hours for the guy at 28, and I got 8 hours for the guy at 21, labor is costing me $392. Let's pretend material is 750 bucks. Whatever I'm buying, my vendor, my cost is 750. So I add the 392 and the 750, this job is costing me, this is cost of goods, $1,142. Okay, that's what I get the privilege of paying to produce the project for the customer. Regardless of what I charge and collect, this is what I get to pay to do the job if everything goes right. Meaning we don't go over budget on the hours and like that. So to ensure that you price your work to get a 50% profit, simply take that total job cost of $1,142 and multiply it by at least 2. Okay, and in this case, you multiply by 2, we get a sales price of $2,284. So guys, here's the deal. If you sell the job at that amount and you finish in the hours that you estimated and you don't spend more than you estimated in the material or what you paid for in the material, okay, you would have basically $1,142 left. You'd have half of the money left, which is a 50% gross profit. This is only as good as your production rates. Okay, meaning how long does it take us to do certain things? This is where you got to be a student of the game and the student of your people. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to do something. It's what do we actually produce in the field with my employees, and you got to base your times off of that. So track how long things take, and that will help you be more accurate when you're estimating your project times. The cool thing here also, another takeaway guys, is if you save any hours, so in this job we said it was a 16-hour job that we're paying out, well maybe it took you 14 hours. All right, so any hours that you save or money on materials that you save, that your gross profit goes up, and that's a good thing. And the opposite also applies, that if it takes you longer or you spend more money, your gross profit goes down. So you want to make sure that you're job costing every project in pretty much real time to make sure that you're on track. I have a warning for you here. Okay? Warning. You will be tempted to start telling lies to yourself right now. Because I've seen it happen 1,000 times. Guys hear this, they go, here's my direct job costs, I multiply by 2, and they see this number on the paper and they go, holy shit, there's no way I can get that for this work. I would never pay that much for this work. And they start the head trash. Okay, guys, you can't be a wuss here. The math is the math. Trust the fucking math. Okay, trust the math. The reason so many contractors aren't making 100 grand and they're in debt and all the crap that we've talked about before on this channel is because we don't simply trust the math. The math is unemotional, so quit being emotional about this. Be bold and sell at higher prices. Okay? You gotta be in business long enough to stand behind your product, guys. You gotta be in business. You gotta make enough money to hire good people and to train those people. All right, so your customers want you to be successful because it's also in the best interest for them. So get out of your head right now if you're calculating this shit and you start telling yourself lies and negotiating against yourself before you're telling somebody a price. There's a link in the description, and we have a tool there, a free spreadsheet that you can use where it basically walks you through just, hey, how many hours is this going to take? What are you going to spend on material? What are some other costs? Blah, blah, blah. You enter some things in, you hit the enter button, and on the next tab it says you need to charge at least this in order to price your work at a 50% gross profit. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. Stand by for the next video where we're going to talk about how to actually execute the job to get a 50%. Because it does us no good if we price it at 50 if we can't do it for the 50% gross profit. So I got to rock. No, I don't. You guys rock. I got to roll. We'll see you next time, Contractor Fight TV.